Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Welcome to the In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, Micheal Wooding with the Auto Appraisal Network.
Right.
Later, Konrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. We're a live broadcast coming to you from Studio A in the mystery city of Sugar Land, Texas, if you want to be specific. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Because, you know, we bill ourselves as a Houston, Texas-based car show. Well, Houston is about 3 miles that way. Right there.
And Sugar Land is a suburb of Houston.
Yeah, it is.
And Don is the flyover of Houston.
No, it's just a quaint little hamlet.
Yesterday we had a car chase.
Don
Oh,
is
my
a
God.
ham.
A car chase. And took me just a little while. It was a short-lived car chase, but we were really close by when we got the word, hey, it's over here. So we go over there, look for it, find it. And here, lineup of 8 police cars, 10 police cars, all chasing this silver Nissan, I don't know, Altima or something. And he's going through a neighborhood over on the northeast side of town, 5th Ward. And so he takes a corner, and of course it's open ditches on either side of the road. So what does the police car driver do? It's great.
Drives straight into the ditch.
He pushes him into the ditch. It was perfect. He just shoved the back into the. He's got the steering wheel cocked. He's trying to go around the corner.
Oh, they have a maneuver name for that, where they
Pit maneuver.
No, not the pit. It wasn't the pit.
Ditch maneuver.
That would the ditch maneuver, because the pit maneuver would be in the left or rear quarter panel.
Trying to spin him out.
Spin him out.
Yeah. So what did he do?
Got on his rear
ditched him.
bumper and just pushed him right.
Oh,
into the
when he
ditch.
was going around the corner, so he couldn't go around the corner. I like that.
Oh, it was great. And opened the door, and out he goes. And he's hauling down the street, right? And here are the other two. There's 2 cops, and they're going after him. They're just running and running and running, and they're catching up with him. And then when he gets close, he does one of these. I said, it's a Super Bowl move that he's making out here.
Super Bowl weekend.
And, man, I don't know. I would imagine that pretty much the front side of his body had some road rash on it after they tackled him out there in the middle of the road. It was great.
You know, I always wonder when you see things like that, I'm thinking, here's this 20, 25-year-old kid or whoever.
He was.
Outrunning the donut
and he's
masters.
out here running in his tennis shoes, and here's these policemen that have got 40 pounds worth of gear, and they're bulletproof, and their belts and all this, and they're chasing him down. I'm thinking, how sad is that for this guy that's so out of shape that they can catch him?
Yeah. It was an interesting day. Lots of fun on that.
Did you get to chase the ambulance when the kid stole the ambulance?
Yes, I did that too.
You were up in the air quite a bit this past week.
I was. Yeah. Anyway,
Speaking of up in the air quite a bit, let's talk to Woody.
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 Fellas, how you doing?
Well, you sound you're a long way away from the microphone there, my friend. You sound like That's better.
A little better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better because you sound like you're in the commode.
Well, let me open the door right quick.
All right, whatever you'd like to do. So Micheal Wooding is with the company called the Auto Appraisal Network, and he does appraisals, loss, whatever they call it.
Diminished value. Insurance appraisals.
Prior to loss.
Yeah, prior to loss.
All types. All types.
Yeah. And he always posts, at least most of them anyway, the appraisals that he does. And
But he doesn't put the numbers up, but he talks about the
types of vehicle,
vehicles.
yeah.
And I will tell you, Konrad and I both said the same thing. And
You should have put that Ferrari back in the garage and closed the door.
dude, I don't believe
Actually, that's the first barn find Ferrari I've ever done.
Well, hopefully it's the last, because
What
I'll
was it,
tell you what,
a
that
412?
It was a 365 GT4, 12-cylinder front engine, 4-seat Ferrari.
it was ugly as the day is long.
The barn was worth more
Well,
money.
did you see those seat covers?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually,
Don ordered a set from J.C. Whitney.
Yeah, is that right? Oh man, it looked like a bedspread to me from 1920s.
It looked like four dead cats sewed
Well,
together.
that's why it was appealing to Don.
We ripped a little bit of it off, and the leather underneath was actually in pretty good shape. But let me tell you the backstory on that particular car.
Please do.
This lady and her husband up in the Spring area owned a storage facility, warehouses where
Yep.
you could park a car in it or put whatever you wanted in it. And the car was put in there in 1987. And they paid rent on it all the way up through 99, but never came and touched the car or opened the door or anything. And then they just all of a sudden quit paying. And so after a couple of years, they decided, we got to fight. If they're not paying for this, we need to clean this out. They open the door and find this Ferrari. So they pull the thing out and they call the DPS to come look at the car. And DPS says the car was stolen.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So they checked into it and they found out that the insurance company had actually paid off on the car back in 87. And now that insurance company's out of business. So the DPS said, I guess it's your car.
Finders keepers.
And just gave it to them. So they were trying to ascertain what kind of value it might have. And I haven't got the appraisal back from corporate yet, but I figure it's going to be pretty low.
Yeah, but it's still better
that's
than
a car
zero.
You can take the body off of and use the engine and chassis and put it rebody it. So
Yeah.
I've got an
there's
idea.
actually people that'll buy things like that.
Tub
So,
it out.
but anyhow, it's been an interesting week. I also got up in the Woodlands and met with an older gentleman that's retired and moving to Seattle to be near his children. And he had a baby blue 56 or 57 T-Bird with the hardtop, porthole window hardtop,
Yeah.
rack and pinion steering upgrade, and air conditioning. And the car was in pretty good shape. It had a little nick or two on it here or there, but overall it was really nice. Brand new top, the whole bit. And then he brings out the second car he wants me to appraise, and it's a 1972 240Z that he bought brand new.
A cool car.
And when he bought the car, he took the original wheels off, put them in a box, and bought some aftermarket hot rod looking rims to put on the car. So he had the original rims in perfect condition in the box, 44,000 miles on the car, one owner.
Man.
Wow.
So I
That's a
told
70.
him right then when I was looking, I said, I don't set the price here. Corporate's going to end up setting the price. But I can tell you, I'll almost bet that Z is worth more than that Thunderbird. And sure enough, the Thunderbird came back at like 50,000 and the Z came back at 58,000.
Wow.
So I was really,
How are you not tempted to?
to?
How are
Go
you
ahead.
not tempted to try and buy some of this stuff? I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but somebody like that, he's wanting to move. How do you not try and buy it?
Well, you guys did a lengthy interview with my friend Michael Kane.
Right.
And so I introduced Michael to this fella. And when I do run across those situations, that's what I try to do because Michael's such an honest and good dealer. And that's hard to find these days, But I turned Michael on to him, and he's going to consign the cars with Michael so he can move on.
Oh, very good. So it's still open market. It's just not any individual that you know.
Right. And the other thing that's been on my mind here lately, I don't know if you watched any of these auctions in January, Kissimmee and so forth, but some of these people with money are pushing this hobby away from the average Joe.
You bet.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And they're misleading them in a way. You'll see a LS6 Chevelle come by at $150,000, $160,000, and so they think their 7454 is worth $150,000, $160,000, and it's not. It's not an LS6. Those are a rare car. So there's a lot of people that aren't really in the big know look at these cars and just think they're overvaluing their cars by a long shot. and they're doing it based on what they see in
Well,
these auctions.
And the auction the auction
You get
prices.
two guys together that want a car, they can push it. I seen a Blazer go for $250,000. A 75 K5 Blazer.
And the fall this year in the fall's auction, the car will be back on the block.
Yeah.
You bet.
And that's just ridiculous numbers, especially for the common Joe like myself that just can't afford something.
But don't you think that that's going to fix itself when that guy goes to resell the car in a few years after he's done with it? And
absolutely.
And he's not going to get anywhere close to half of what he paid for.
Going to reset.
That's a fact.
Well, and the other thing is you're looking at some of the what I'll call the resto mods are going at values higher than, an original 63 Corvette Fuelie might be a $300,000 car. And then you look at somebody who took an original 63 Corvette and resto modded it, put an LS7 and all this other stuff, and that one goes for $400,000. That imbalance of the resto mod versus the all original car is out of whack as well.
Well,
and that's where it's going. The perfectly restored original cars are just going into collections.
So
they're not being driven.
Yeah.
Where the resto mod, you can take that thing and drive it like you do your daily driver. Art Morrison chassis, a LS7 engine out of a new Corvette, 6-speed or 7-speed or 8-speed automatic transmission, air conditioning, rack and pinion. It's like driving a new Cadillac.
Michael, we've kind of talked about these, some things here. We got 2 or 3 different ideas on it, but some of it seems like the higher these prices go, the smaller that audience of actual real buyers. I mean, we can sit here and look at it and say, oh, yeah, that's cool. That one got $300,000 for that or $200,000 for that 69 Mach 1. But the actual buyers, don't you think that as those prices go up, that scope of buyers, real buyers gets smaller? Yeah, buyer pool gets smaller. That's it.
Somewhat. But, salaries today for educated people are way higher than what they were when I was 40 years old. I was making 100,000, thought I was doing great. Now at 40-year-old, people are making 250 a year, 300,000 a year, depending on what they do.
Yeah, but a dozen eggs cost $20.
The money's out there. That's the problem. It's not as small as you think it is.
Yeah, but maybe so. Maybe so.
Which way do you think that the resale market is going? Where you go and do these appraisals all the time. And I'm not talking about late model cars, lost and all that stuff. I'm talking about really collector type cars. The 69 Camaro Z28, whether it's an original or it's a resto mod, doesn't make any difference. Where is all of this going? Because to me, as you mentioned, the resto mod thing seems to be really picking up steam. Somebody buys an old, real junker of a 69 Camaro, and then they put a lot of money into it, turn it around, put new floors in it, maybe even a chassis in it, a late model engine, and they wind up selling it if they don't drive it themselves. What is, besides the market itself, where is the popularity going?
People ask me that question all the time. What's the next collectible car and so forth. And I always give the same answer. Look at the high school parking lot 40 years ago today, and what cars were hot in the parking lot. And that's where you see the cars that are rising the most in value. Trans Ams, 77, 78, 79 Trans Ams. Buick GNXs are bringing $200,000. A low mileage example. 887. The early Camaros, the 2000s, 2001s, 2002, they're headed up in value. So it's what, and I don't know if you know it or not, but I've got my wagon up for sale over at Michael.
Uh-oh.
You do?
Yeah.
Why?
I do. Well, if I get what I want for it, I'll sell it. If I don't, I'll bring it back home.
Stupid money. That's what he's selling it for.
But, and I'm asking pretty serious money for the car. So,
Well, you obviously are asking the price that you think that it will get.
Yeah, because wagons do pretty well.
I love
today.
wagons.
They're kind of still up in the marketplace, and so I thought the timing was right.
Put it in a barn and then come back out a year later.
What's that?
Put it in a barn and then a year later have it a barn fire.
Well, that's the worst thing you can do to a car is let it sit for a year. I tell everybody, if you got to have a collector car, fire it up, drive it around the block once a week if you don't do anything else with it.
Well, that's
I told you the story about the Porsche guy here in town with the huge Porsche collection.
Mm-hmm.
He actually has a treadmill in the building to run the cars on. So he has people that work for him full time that take a car once a month over there and run 2 miles on the treadmill just to keep the tires rounded, the fluids moving in the rear end, the transmission, and the engine.
because you sure don't want to drive it around potholed Houston.
And to Don's,
And he's right there in that downtown area. So, yeah, it's not a perfect place to drive.
So Michael, when you're looking at these vehicles from an appraisal aspect, is there such a thing as having too low a miles? I mean, like Don's Corvette was low mileage, and it still is.
Think about it. If the car's extremely low mile, how was it kept? Rubber deteriorates, oil, gaskets dry up. Different things can go wrong with a car just sitting there. So, you find one with extremely low miles, and then you start driving that car a little bit, you're probably going to end up with some major problems and oil leaks and this, that. And
belts, hoses,
Hoses bad, brake lines bad, just because of the moisture in the air. Now, if they're kept in a climate controlled building, the doors are opened, it's aired out every once in a while. It's maybe driven once a month or, for a couple of miles, and it's only accumulated 6,000 miles in 20 years. That's one I'd look at. One with 1,000 miles on it, it's 20 years old. You're buying just the look.
Yeah, and to Don's point,
be a drivable car without some serious recommission.
To Don's point earlier about putting parts on the vehicle, and you're saying, look at the parking lots from 40 years ago in high school. As long as they're making fenders and floor pans, they're going to have those vehicles around. They're going to have the parts, the metal, the aftermarket fenders and things. They're going to have those cars around, so they're not going away.
But they're moving. I mean, like mine's a '56 Pontiac wagon. And the guys that wanted that car or remember being a kid in that car in '56, they're getting up in age.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I resemble that remark.
Well, and your car's already got a lot of mods done to it that they might have thought they wanted to do back then or they want to do now to make it more
they couldn't
drivable.
even do it back then. You couldn't get an LS back then. So,
right.
But those cars are just starting to lose value because there's not as many buyers that have a memory. And you got to be realistic. In the collector car world, the majority of it is people buying memory.
Yeah, Prevagen's only so good. But 10 years from now, to look back, the high school parking lot was full of Mitsubishis and Hondas. And the value.
You see that JDM market, and look at this Z car.
Yeah.
You could have picked those up 10 years ago for $4,000.
Yep. Cool.
Well, Michael, it's always good to talk to you, my friend. Auto Appraisal Network. What's the website?
www.autoappraisalnetwork.com.
I kind of figured that was what it was going to be.
I knew the .com.
Yeah, we knew that. All right, Micheal Wooding, great to talk to you, my friend. Let's talk again soon.
Look forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you very much. You too. Micheal Wooding, Auto Appraisal Network. All right, time now for This Week in Auto History. What are we doing today? What's happened this week?
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, this week in 1909, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was incorporated by Carl Fisher as president. The Speedway was Fisher's brainchild, and he would see...
As in Fisher Body?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he would see his project from inauspicious beginnings to the ultimate glorious end. The first race at the Indy Speedway took place in August, just a few months after the formation of the corporation. And they had scrambled to get the track together for the race. and their lack of preparation showed. There were lives lost on the account of the condition of the track, and that could have led to the demise of the track altogether. Instead of just closing the track and going away, Fisher dug up some extra money and upped the stakes, and he added the bricks to the track. So the whole 2.5 miles was brick, which is where the phrase brickyard comes from. And there's still bricks left at the track, the original bricks left at the track. And there's actually stored bricks underneath the grandstands and stuff. So that's where the brickyard came from. In 1942, the federal government ordered a passenger car production to be stopped, and all of that converted to wartime production. I'm going to do a piece later about who was building what. The picture here is Ford was building B-24 Liberators.
Willow Run.
Yeah, at Willow Run. And they were pumping out like 20, 25 planes a day.
Yeah, they wanted one an hour.
Yeah.
That was the goal.
And, that was definitely one of the planes that won the war for us. In 1954, Mercedes introduced the SL Coupe to the public. The stylish sport car was characterized by its gull-wing doors. The Coupe was a instant race car with its 6-cylinder engine and a top speed of 155 miles an hour. The problem with it was that was involved in one of the accidents at Le Mans that killed 84 spectators as the car went up into the stands, and was part of why I know General Motors, Ford had pulled out of racing altogether. Mercedes had pulled out of racing as well. So, and that's probably one of the highest valued vehicles out there right now on the resale market. They only built 1,400 SL Coupes in its production run. In 1958, Ford built the first Ford Thunderbird with 4 seats called the Square Bird, and converted top-line Ford from a sports coupe to a luxury cruiser. The new 4-seat package had a 252 cubic inch, 300 horsepower V8, and 38,000 cars were built its first year.
There was one at Chroma Coffee last week.
Cool car. My grandpa had one. His was black. It wasn't a convertible, though. And then in 1966, Don's favorite person, Ralph Nader, testified before the Senate, reinforcing his earlier claims that the auto industry was socially irresponsible on safety measures. And Nader's 1965 book, Unsafe at Any Speed, the design and dangers of the American automobile had become a sensation a year earlier. Nader attacked the auto industry's unwillingness to consider the safety of the consumer, as Nader himself put it. And that was kind of the origination of where a lot of the recalls started to get traction. And now, Don, you read the recall list all the time. And, some of the recalls are, again, compliance recalls, which means they didn't do something right. And then there's safety recalls that stuff is breaking. So, two separate categories for recalls on vehicles. So that's this week in auto history.
All right. Thank you, sir. Here's an interesting story for you EVers out there. Bank of America Corporation is offering consumers the option of financing at-home electric vehicle chargers as part of their auto loans. Anticipating demand for the products will increase as buyers turn away from gas-powered cars. Charging stations can cost $200 to $2,000 in the Charlotte, North Carolina-based bank said in a statement. Average price of an EV in the U.S. exceeds $65,000, according to Kelley Blue Book. Global cumulative investment in charging hardware and installation is on pace to pass $100 billion this year. Wow, that's a lot of do-re-mi, but now you can get it included into your car loan.
I can
Makes
see.
sense. Yeah.
I can see electricians specializing in installing EV charging stations at your house.
Well, you've got the things to charge your home when the power goes out.
Right.
The reliability of the electric vehicle charging network is getting worse, with at least 1 in 5 charging attempts by drivers failing last year. I was part of that. I tried to get a vehicle charged up here at EVgo and couldn't do it. Many charging stations are aging, lack routine maintenance, and face software hiccups. Number of failed charging attempts climbed steadily from 15% in the first quarter of 2021 to 20% in the first quarter of 22 and rose to more than 21% by the third quarter, according to J.D. Power's Electric Vehicle Experience Public Charging Study that was released this past Wednesday. So for all you charging station suppliers out there, get it together, brother, because people are ticked off.
So you heard Ferrari has announced it is going to release its first fully electric Ferrari the summer of 2025.
Okay.
That'd probably be a fun car to go for a ride.
I would imagine so. Yeah, but you can only go for about 20 miles in it because all the power's
And the Lyric, you can't get a Lyric until 2025.
All right, the In Will Time Car Talk Show will be right back after this quick break, so stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Resto Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right, free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Konrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWillTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In-Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. That's it for this podcast episode of the In-Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.